It's been a minute. I kind of took a little break here towards the end of the dog days. Thought I'd jump on here, get back in the swing of things. Going to update you a little bit, give you a little bit of information on that fall bite. Going to wait a minute, see if we can get some people to jump in here. That fall bite is in full swing. So I want to bring a report from Mike's Bait and Tackle. Route 235, Lakeview, Ohio. Mike's Bait and Tackle's home of M&K Baits. Okay, got a little bit of information for you here. We got one person in here. How you doing? I'm not seeing any chat yet. Got a little bit of information. Got a couple tournaments going on. We got one coming up this weekend. Okay, Tosh Collins, how are you doing? Mike's Bait and Tackle is putting on a bluegill tournament this weekend. It is Sunday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. For more information on that tournament, you can stop in at Mike's Bait and Tackle, or you can call Mike's at area code 419-733-7085. Mike's had that phone number for a couple years now. It just got updated on his Facebook page, so there is a good number for that tackle shop. You need to go, if you're into saugeye fishing, you need to jump into Indian Lake's annual Indian Lake Saugeye Slam. You can go to their Facebook page, annual Indian Lake Saugeye Slam. That starts October 14th at 3 p.m. and it runs clear through December 9th at 3 p.m. This is a big one, folks. There's a lot of cash prizes, other prizes, a lot of money involved here. It's a pretty decent tournament. You have a lot of time to win something. Them guys are saying every cast could be worth $1,000, so you need to jump on over that. And you'll have to download the Fish Donkey app. So, all right, that fall bite's in full swing. I'll tell you what, the saugeye bite has been hot, and it seems like there's no window on the saugeye bite. If you're a saugeye fisherman, you know what I'm talking about. They've been getting them during the day and the evening, throwing just about anything you can at them. They're getting them. They're getting them on the docks at Black Hawk, dropping a minnow beside the docks. $1,000 big saugeye, 250 big crappie. There's a lot of good information, folks. You need to jump over on that page, or at you can ask Tosh on Indian Lake Fishing Reports page also. I'm sure he'd be glad to answer any questions for you there. I tell you what, Chippewa's been on fire. The perch, saugeye. People have been catching saugeye on rooster tails too, but it seems like Chippewa is a very hot spot right now for saugeye, for nice sized perch, and crappie, man. The crappie are being caught. Limits of crappie are being caught mainly towards the evening, early evening hours around the docks. They're either jigging the docks or they're shooting them from a boat. So you'll want to get on them. The perch, Chippewa, like I said, Chippewa is a good spot for the perch right now. Black Hawk is hot on the perch, and Moundwood, all being caught around them places there. White bass, they're schooled up at the bridge at Oldfield Beach. That's being reported. Folks, you do not need a boat right now to have the upper hand on catching fish. And I'm going to give you a little tip here. It seems to be 3 foot is key. 3 foot depth has always worked very well for catching mixed bags anywhere them channels are around the lake. If you're targeting crappie, you're going to want to start at maybe 18 inches deep around the docks and then work your way down. Okay? And if you're not catching any perch at any of those depths and you're using a slip cork, drop down to 4 foot. 4 foot's always worked for me when you couldn't find perch. And I wanted to talk a little bit about something here. I hope that helps y'all out. But, you know, everybody always brings up, where's the fish biting at? Where are you catching them at today? Well, where you're catching them at today may not be the case where you're going to catch them at tomorrow or even later on that day. And especially saugeye. Right now, I think you're in good shape. You can go get saugeye just about anywhere, just about any time of day. They're not being real picky on whether you're throwing a stick bait or a swim bait. They're feeding up, man. They're looking fat. The fish are no different than a bear right now that's wanting to fatten up and feed up to go hibernate later on here. It's going to get cold out soon, folks. So they're feeding up. They're coming up. They're coming in, and they're going to be on. I mean, fishing's just going to get better and better until ice. So take advantage of that saugeye fishing the way it is right now, because here later on, them saugeye are going to start getting a little harder to catch. There's going to be a window of time that you can catch them in. They're going to turn on for maybe an hour or two, and then they're going to turn off. So, and crappie are like that too. So I hope that helps you out. Now, what I've always wanted to tell people to do at the lake, which is hard to do for a lot of people, but spend more time on the water. You'll get to see what kind of patterns there are. The patterns change just like the seasons do. I go down there, I spend from the time that I get down there till it's dark or maybe even midnight and fish, because I only get so many times a year that I can come down there. So I take advantage of it. And you learn the seasonal patterns and transitions that way. You kind of learn some of the spots that they're biting at during certain times of the day or certain time of that season. It really helps out, folks. It'll make you start to understand feeding patterns. So I just wanted to jump on here and get this going for the fall bite. You know, if anybody has any questions, jump in there. I'm more than happy to try to answer them. One thing I did want to show you and kind of comment on, I got to redo these. Let me see if I can grab the shorter pole. There were some questions asked about this deep water setup that I had, you know, and I'm gonna tell you one advantage to this. I'm running 10-pound braid, okay, and then my leader line is a 6-pound mono, but I'm running a barrel swivel there, or a barrel swivel and a barrel weight, okay, and then your big cork. I'm crappie fishing with this setup, and you know, there were some comments about it. Yeah, I probably did miss some crappie because I couldn't see a real light bite, but I did catch a lot of crappie. Reason being, I use this if I'm not in a boat. There's a couple spots that I target, and they're trees, and they're quite a ways out. And where I go, you know, up on a reservoir, it's windy. If it's not windy, it's going to be later on. So I have to cast quite a distance to reach one of them trees where the crappie will be schooled up at. And in the wind to boot. So you're going to be able to cast that a lot better with that weight and that big bobber. And now I'll even, which I don't like doing, but I do, I jump up to a bigger jig head. So I can get that out there further and get that down quick down in the water quick, down past the bluegill, right to where the crappie are at. I usually know about the right depth, right where they're at. So I'll get that down there and I'll hold it in the wind. So that kind of explains that. If I had my choice, I wouldn't be using that setup. If I was in a boat, I'd be using a carrot float or a smaller slip float. So, and it does make a difference using that smaller float crappie fish, especially this time of the year. Not all the bites are aggressive. You have negative bites, and then you'll have very, very light bites. It'll just barely nudge your bobber and just barely want to pull it down, but they're on there. So, when you're crappie fishing like that, you want to pay very, very close attention to your line and your carrot float. Um, and if not, you'll miss some very light bites. So, what's a tip to fish saugeye in the grassy areas, jigging? I'll tell you what, guys. Um, I don't usually target saugeye when I go there. I would like to. Um, I usually catch them on a crappie jig, and I fish for them different. I fish under. I don't think I have one set. I might have one set up in my vehicle. I fish underneath a wobble bobber. I may have a small swim bait or a jig underneath a wobble bobber. And for those of you that haven't seen or don't know what a wobble bobber is, I'll show you here sometime. But it's a weighted bottom and it's kind of shaped like a weird buoy or something. But it'll wobble back and forth like this in the waves. So if you got any amount of wind or waves at all, it's going to rock back and forth like this and work your bait underneath. So you won't have to jig it. And I think originally that wobble bobber was designed for like Lake Erie type fishing in them waves for walleye. So, and they work. They work well. I've caught plenty of saugeye and mixed bags on them. That bobber will do the work for you. But weed lines, the bank alone, just the bank. I'll tell you what, they were getting. I'll tell you this, they're getting saugeye with the minnow jigging the docks. See, guy Phil Limit, no time at all, just jigging the docks. A nice sized saugeye. So, like I said, right now the saugeye aren't being real picky. They're feeding up. Um, I would just pick a spot. But like I said, what amazes me, like I said, Chippewa is a real hot spot right now. And in the last 2 years, I don't fish Chippewa a lot, but I try to, every time I come down, I try to fish it. Last, or this spring, early this spring, it was pretty weedy at that point. And I don't think I did hardly anything out of there the year before. This year I think I caught some perch and bluegill there. That had been about it. But I think everything's uh, the weeds are cut back enough to where it allowed maybe the fish to take, I'm gonna say, a different highway or create some different paths or roadways or feeding points. But if you're out in a boat, yeah, I mean, I'd definitely work the weed lines and around any of the islands that are out in the middle of the lake. One of my favorite things to target would be, say, for example, like Black Hawk. If you head out of the channel and stop right there at the mouth of the lake, where the channel ends and the lake opens up, and target the edges right there coming into the channel. You could even set right out there towards the middle or whatever, but that's usually a hot spot for just about anything coming in and out of the channel. And like I said, I've got a good source telling me that You know, if you're white bass fishing, they are schooled up there at the bridge in the channel there by Oakville Beach. And I like catching them for fun. Um, the louder, the most ridiculous, the louder the bait, the more noise you can make, the more white bass you're going to catch. It's just a fact that they'll come up, they'll get it. So I hope to see some people in the tournament this Sunday. I believe I will probably be there in the tournament this time, and I have a lot of fun. So, well, guys, I didn't want to make this video real long. I think I'm at 15 minutes. I'll make sure this goes back up, so if somebody just jumped in, you can watch the whole thing. So I'll unlock it, and it'll go up as a video. So you guys, if you ever have any questions, you're more than welcome to message me on my Facebook page, American Outdoor Adventures. More than happy to answer something. It may take me a minute to get to it, but I will answer you. And like I said, I hope to see a bunch of you Sunday. Get some bluegill fishing done. So until the next time, solid hook sets, tight lines. That one's for you, Tosh. It's backwards. You guys have a good one. I will see you later.